Every single morning, millions upon millions of people around the globe begin their day in exactly the same way. They reach for that warm, aromatic, comforting cup of freshly brewed coffee. It's a ritual so familiar, so ingrained in our daily lives, that most of us rarely pause to consider what exactly that cup is doing inside our bodies and inside our brains. For decades, coffee has been celebrated as a beloved beverage that helps us shake off drowsiness and face the challenges of a new day. But what if this humble drink could offer something far more profound? What if coffee contained natural compounds that might shield our brains against some of the most devastating diseases known to humanity? Today, we are going to take a deep, thoughtful journey into the scientific research behind coffee and its potential role in reducing the risk of Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, and dementia. I invite you to sit back, relax, and discover how this simple pleasure could be an unexpected ally in the fight to preserve our minds. The rising tide of neurodegenerative diseases. We are living in an extraordinary era. Modern medicine has allowed us to live longer than ever before. But as our life expectancy increases, so too does our vulnerability to diseases that slowly steal away our memories, our independence, and the very core of who we are. According to data from the World Health Organization, more than 55 million people worldwide are currently living with dementia. And every single year, approximately 10 million new cases are diagnosed. Alzheimer's disease is by far the most common cause of dementia, accounting for 60 to 70% of all cases. Meanwhile, Parkinson's disease affects over 10 million people globally and remains one of the fastest-growing neurological disorders. These conditions are not only tragic for the individuals affected, but also for their families and communities. They create an immense burden emotionally, financially, and socially. This is why scientists and researchers have been searching relentlessly for ways to prevent, delay, or slow down the progression of these diseases. And in this search, a surprising candidate has emerged, a beverage that many of us already enjoy every day: coffee. Coffee, a complex brew of bioactive compounds. When most people think about coffee, the first thing that comes to mind is caffeine. Indeed, caffeine is the most widely consumed psychoactive substance on Earth. But coffee is far more complex than a simple caffeine delivery system. Inside each cup exists a rich mixture of over 1,000 different chemical compounds. Among them are powerful antioxidants, such as chlorogenic acid, polyphenol, and melanoidins. These compounds play important roles in reducing inflammation and combating oxidative stress. Oxidative stress occurs when unstable molecules called free radicals accumulate and damage cells. In the brain, this damage contributes to aging and neurodegeneration. The antioxidants in coffee help neutralize these free radicals and protect neurons from their harmful effects. It is this unique blend of caffeine and antioxidants that has sparked so much scientific curiosity. How caffeine works in the brain. Let's take a moment to understand exactly how caffeine affects our brain chemistry. When you drink coffee, caffeine is rapidly absorbed into the bloodstream. It crosses the blood-brain barrier within 20 to 40 minutes. Once inside the brain, it binds to adenosine receptors. Adenosine is a neurotransmitter that promotes sleep, relaxation, and the slowing down of neural activity. By blocking adenosine, caffeine prevents this drowsy effect and instead increases the activity of other neurotransmitters. These include dopamine, which is involved in motivation, and reward, norepinephrine, which increases alertness, and serotonin, which influences mood. This cascade of neurochemical changes helps us feel awake and focused. But beyond this familiar boost, caffeine may also have long-term protective effects on the cells that produce dopamine. These are the very cells that deteriorate in Parkinson's disease. Landmark studies linking coffee to Alzheimer's. Over the last 20 years, epidemiologists have been conducting large-scale studies to explore whether coffee drinkers experience different outcomes when it comes to Alzheimer's disease. One of the most frequently cited studies was conducted by researchers at the University of Kuopio in Finland. This long-term research followed 1,409 middle-aged people over a period of 21 years. The results, published in the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease, were striking. Participants who consumed between 3 and 5 cups of coffee daily had a 65% lower risk of developing Alzheimer's compared to those who drank little or no coffee. Even after adjusting for factors like education level, hypertension, and cholesterol, the association remained significant. This study opened the door to a new understanding of coffee's possible role in protecting memory. Coffee and beta-amyloid, a plaque-reducing potential. A defining hallmark of Alzheimer's disease is the buildup of beta-amyloid plaques between neurons. These sticky clusters disrupt communication, trigger inflammation, and eventually kill brain cells. Researchers have been eager to discover whether caffeine or other coffee compounds could interfere with this damaging process. Animal studies have provided intriguing clues. In one experiment conducted by the University of South Florida, mice genetically modified to develop Alzheimer's-like plaques were given caffeinated coffee daily. The results showed significantly lower levels of beta-amyloid protein in their brains. These findings suggest that caffeine might help reduce plaque formation and preserve cognitive function. Of course, animal studies do not always translate perfectly to humans, but they offer valuable insight into possible biological mechanisms. Parkinson's disease, the coffee connection. Parkinson's disease unfolds when dopamine-producing neurons gradually die. Without adequate dopamine, patients experience tremors, slowness of movement, and muscle rigidity. Several major studies have consistently demonstrated an inverse relationship between caffeine intake and Parkinson's risk. A large meta-analysis, published in the journal Neurology, reviewed data from 29 studies, including hundreds of thousands of participants. The analysis concluded that people who regularly drank coffee had about a 30% lower risk of developing Parkinson's disease. Some research even suggests that higher caffeine intake could delay the onset of symptoms in those who eventually develop the disease. Harvard's longitudinal study on Parkinson's. One of the most compelling investigations was conducted by scientists at Harvard University. This study followed over 8,000 Japanese-American men living in Hawaii over a period of 3 decades. Men who drank the highest quantities of coffee, more than 28 ounces daily, had a 5-fold reduction in Parkinson's risk compared to non-drinkers. These robust findings reinforce the idea that coffee consumption may have a neuroprotective effect, particularly against the loss of dopamine neurons. Dementia beyond Alzheimer's. Dementia is not a single disease. It is an umbrella term for a range of conditions that impair memory, thinking, and social abilities. Besides Alzheimer's disease, it includes vascular dementia, Lewy body dementia, and frontotemporal dementia. A recent review, published in Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience, analyzed 11 cohort studies spanning more than 29,000 people. The authors found that moderate coffee consumption was associated with a 27% reduction in overall dementia risk. This suggests that coffee's protective potential might extend beyond just one type of neurodegeneration. The role of antioxidants and anti-inflammatory compounds. What could explain these protective associations? In addition to caffeine, coffee contains the wealth of polyphenol and chlorogenic acids. These compounds have strong antioxidant properties. They reduce chronic inflammation, which is believed to contribute to neuronal injury. Inflammation damages the delicate structures of the brain. By dampening this response, antioxidants may help preserve healthy brain tissue. Safe and effective consumption, finding balance. Despite these promising findings, it is important to consume coffee thoughtfully. Health authorities generally recommend limiting caffeine intake to no more than 400 milligrams per day. This amount equals about 3 to 4 regular cups. Consuming too much caffeine can lead to restlessness, irritability, rapid heartbeat, and digestive discomfort. People sensitive to caffeine or those with certain medical conditions should consult their doctors before increasing intake. Healthy coffee habits for maximum benefit. To enjoy coffee safely and harness its full potential benefits, consider these guidelines. Choose fresh, high-quality beans. Avoid excessive sugar, flavored syrups, and heavy cream. Limit coffee consumption in the late afternoon to avoid insomnia. Pair coffee with a balanced diet, rich in vegetables, berries, nuts, and fish. Remember, no single food or drink can replace a healthy lifestyle. Decaffeinated coffee. Does it help? What about decaf coffee? While decaffeinated varieties contain less caffeine, they still provide polyphenol and other beneficial compounds. Some studies have found modest associations between decaf coffee and lower dementia risk. However, the protective effects against Parkinson's disease appear to be primarily due to caffeine itself. So, if you are sensitive to caffeine but still enjoy coffee, decaf can still be part of a healthy pattern. Limitations, research frontiers, and final thoughts. It is essential to remember that coffee is not a miracle cure. Many factors influence brain health, including genetics, physical activity, sleep, social engagement, and mental stimulation. More research, especially randomized controlled trials, is needed to clarify exactly how coffee's compounds interact with human biology. Still, current evidence suggests that moderate coffee consumption is a safe and potentially powerful habit to help protect cognitive health. So the next time you prepare your favorite cup, pause to reflect. With each sip, you may be supporting the resilience of your brain, helping it stay clear, strong, and capable for years to come. Thank you for sharing this time with me. Stay curious, stay hopeful, and take good care of your mind and your body.